Now. Yep, so hello and welcome to Boss Battle. I'm Goron1988 and I am here with Evil Troy 1245, Zenta Live, and Inquisitor Cat. And
It's really
Cat, if
excuse
you
me
do
to
that
open.
one more time, I swear to God, I'll kick you from the voice chat.
I expect it at this point, Zen, it's
I am sick
fine.
and tired of the skeleton shrieks. I've had too many skeletons to deal with, okay?
I've I deal with a skeleton every single day.
Every
My
single night.
own. Yep.
They keep showing up, and the more you kill, the larger they get.
Oh yeah, well
Get it?
that
That's your
definitely
Ocarina of
is
Time
a
reference for tonight.
thank you. But
This one.
yeah, so let's go into this versus Goma versus Baronade. How does everybody feel about this matchup?
I like the Goma boss fight. I don't like the Baronade boss fight. And also, I think that the name Baronade kind of sounds like a dish.
Mm. I when
That's my
Okay.
2 cents.
when
For
I
me,
um
I have it all the way around, but hey.
when I think of Baronade, I think of Barnacle. To be honest with you, so but that's just me. But yeah, I think as a matchup it'll be pretty decent. What about yourselves, Troy and Kat?
Well, it is a matchup between two parasites that work in essence the same way, although they fight completely different.
Mm,
Can
yeah.
can you guys remind me how does Baronade work again? You throw a boomerang at one of his tentacle thingies, and
Yeah,
then
you in the boss fight itself, you throw a boomerang at the tentacles on top. It detaches Baronade. Now we don't know whether we tried to look it up. We don't know whether Baronade can detach naturally. I'd assume Baronade can, but whether Baronade can is up for debate.
whether he
Um,
wants to is also a second one.
yeah. But yeah, basically after that phase, talking about the battle itself, Baronade will spin round, which is what we've called the flail ability. And Baronade will effectively hit you either with its own body or with one of the jellyfish that's attached to it. And that basically continues throughout the rest of the boss fight, pretty much. But yeah. But yeah, anything else to say about this specific matchup?
You think that pretty much wraps it up?
What
Yeah.
don't you need to explain what Goma does
I
and how that works?
mean, we explain that now. We explain
Oh,
both of
okay,
them now.
okay.
When I said
Hi,
debates,
I'm new here.
I
New guy.
noticed. Hi, new
Look
guy.
at the page 6.
But
Look at the
yeah,
page 6.
so Goma is Health C, Power C, Intelligence A, Mobility A. Goma's abilities are Minions D, can spawn a ton of minions with a small amount of health and damage effectively. Venom D has the ability to effectively, completely destroy large organisms over a large amount of time. I mean, that is the Deku tree. And Blind Sense B basically can sense in dark conditions, as we see at the start of the boss fight. So that's what Goma can do. What Baronade can do has Health B, Power D, Intelligence F, Mobility D, an Electric Stun, which is A, very powerful. Jellyfish, which would be the jellyfish can either be used as attack against opponents or as additional defense, and the flail B. So that flail B, hitting straight into things. Some very powerful abilities here. On all of this, going back to both of them, how do you think Goma would win this, and how do you think Baronade might win this?
Gona will eat the fucker.
Sorry.
Gona will eat it. Just eat it. Nom, nom, nom.
I see. Goma eats Baron.
See,
Okay.
I like opinion wise, I think that Goma is the better one out of the two because of its abilities in general. Like it's a lot stronger. But the thing is, Baronade is stuck to the ceiling until because it doesn't come down, right? Like we're not sure if it comes down. So how is Goma going to detach Baronade? Like does it climb up there and like nibble on its tentacles or something, or
I
how do we see this happening?
well, that will definitely be discussed in the next part, effectively, of this, where we actually flesh out the battle effectively. But yeah, I mean, what we've said, and we said it before at the start, is and I said it before in this, was basically that Baronade, we've assumed that Baronade can detach at will. It's just Baronade, for the most part, wouldn't do that because Baronade doesn't have the intelligence to do that. That's basically how it works for Baronade. But yeah, we just do it through an action reaction sequence to get a result of a battle, but we do decide, what happens effectively now. So, again, we must talk about the battle itself. The arena, it will be half the Deku Tree morphed into effectively half of Jabu Jabu. So they'll both have a section with their home turf effectively. And yeah, there's nothing else to say about, where the battle is. I mean, Goma would definitely see Baronade at the start of it, and Baronade would sense Goma at the start of it through some means. Is there anything else that we want to throw in there?
I think
On my
that's
end.
the most important things.
Good. Okay, then. So now what we're going to do is decide effectively, who's going to win this and with what certainty. Again, it's possible this is a close matchup in which the result from our play-by-play may be different to the result that we've specifically put here, but we'll just see. So, but we'll have to all decide whether we will agree. So. But yeah, so I've put it in there. I'm going to, because you're new to this, and I'm just going to add you to this, and you should be able to see, my,
Already on it.
but yeah. Okay, good. But yeah, we all have to be certain on this one effectively. So, yeah, if we all agree, say you're in agreement.
I'm
Yes.
agreeing.
Okay? If there's anything new to sort of say.
I have an itch.
Okay. So there doesn't seem to be anything else to say. So now we decide who plays as which boss.
My voice needs to be calm.
Sorry.
I don't know.
Okay. Well, in all of this, what I would say is that you have been Goma before, Cat.
Yep.
You'd be happy being Goma again.
Sure.
And then,
It's a
well,
Goma.
Zen, do you want to act as Baronade in this one?
I'm too scared to act as anything right now.
Okay, then I
I'll just
guess
observe.
I guess I'll act as Baronade in this hypothetical. So yeah, okay then. Well, because Goma has pure confirmation, the two worlds meld, and Goma is able to see Baronade directly. Whilst Baronade only has a small sense, Goma would have first action, so we'll start with you.
Well, Goma seeing a larger being than itself, it would, as the very first thing, find some sort of nook in the Deku Tree portion and hide in that nook.
Okay. So again, this is to clarify with this, there is an assumption here that Baronade does sense Goma. It's an assumption that we've had before, but just to clarify. With that assumption, Baronade would shoot a beam of electricity in the general direction that it's sensing Goma. And to explain it easiest, I know it probably wouldn't be a hit. Like 99% of the time, it wouldn't be a hit. But, it is fired off in that general direction. So that's what Baronade does. What does Goma do then?
Yes. Goma would most likely notice this beam on its way to the hiding spot, which would not alternate the plans, but would, of course, give Goma more information, and that's what Goma is after.
Okay.
So, after reaching the hiding spot, Goma would spawn in a couple of minions.
Okay. So Baronade somehow sensing these minions, albeit not noticing them completely. Let's say that Baronade would bring out two of it, well, not two, just one of its jellyfish, in order to probe. For instance, I'm going to say that's what Baronade effectively does.
Goma's plan and reaction with the minions was to send them forward, just scattering about, seeing how this big thing responds.
Yes. So, are we saying that both sets of minions interact at some point? I believe this is the natural, course of things.
Yeah, I would assume that at least at some point, like one of each would meet.
Okay. In that case, I would believe that Goma would be noticing all of this, but I think that the jellyfish would win against the minion of Goma effectively. So that happens, and then Goma sees that, so Baronade knows as well, albeit far more rudimentary. How does Goma react to this?
Well, Goma seeing that its minions just, well, in essence, melt to the jellyfish, it knows it can just go on and directly attack this creature. It needs another way.
Okay.
So it would continue to create more minions, send them forward while trying to find a way. Can it get closer to Baronade, but not being in its quote unquote vision area?
Yeah.
Goma would not know that Baronade cannot see at this point.
Yeah. So basically, Baronade would keep shooting off towards these minions, sensing a large amount of minions effectively. Yeah, if that was the case, Baronade would be focused on that and not focused on Goma itself, even in the slightest. And I would say possibly, depending how many minions spawn and how many attack, I would say a few of those minions, let's say about a quarter, would be destroyed by these electric well these electric attacks by Baronade.
As long as there are minions distracting Baronade, Goma would continue slowly trying to get somewhere above Baronade.
Okay.
Which will be interesting since, well, getting up the tree part is easy, but getting
Yeah.
up the Jabu Jabu part might be a bit more troublesome.
Yes. So this really depends because Baronade will just keep acting trying to destroy the minions. this really depends on how close Goma will be getting to Baronade. So you've got to tell me what Goma's doing specifically. Because,
Goma will try to get above Baronade on Baronade's side of the field.
okay, above. I mean, Baronade is entangled on top, so Goma will be trying to do that. Baronade would probably. This is the thing. In this specific one, Baronade would probably try to shoot at Goma at point blank. The problem with this is that I don't know specifically how this would work because it depends how close Goma gets before doing so. I would say that Goma would be getting close enough that there would be problems with Baronade turning the, the effective emitters to where Goma is. But Baronade is going to attack Goma if Goma's going directly above Baronade.
Goma's attempt was not to go in between the jellyfish jiggles, not the jellyfish jiggles, the tendrils, but beyond the ceiling, gnaw at the ceiling, in essence, going above Baronade in that manner.
Sorry, I'm just trying to think. You'll have to explain further because I think we've both gotten confused with this.
If we would look at this battle completely upside down.
Yeah.
So the floor would be the ceiling and the ceiling would be the roof.
Yeah.
If we see the world that way, Goma would be trying to dig its way down.
Would be trying to dig its way through the roof, is what you're trying to say.
Yes.
Okay, that's a different scenario.
Yes.
That is a different scenario. So if that's the case, Baronade would not know. Again, I was saying about Baronade, assuming Goma was actually getting close to Baronade, but Baronade would not know. Baronade would be keeping on shooting towards Goma's minions. At this point, to clarify, I'd say like half the minions are gone, and Baronade is kind of noticing Goma, but not paying strict attention to Goma yet, if you see what I mean.
Yep.
Yep, so what is Goma doing?
Goma would most likely continue this for a moment and then try to stop and just try to notice is still something going on outside.
Sorry, Goma would try to notice if there was something going on outside.
AKA, are still some of the minions alive?
Okay, so... Sorry, I lost it for a second on that one. Say it again and then I can focus on it. My apologies.
Yes. So Goma would continue the quote-unquote the dig operation.
Yeah.
For a while, but would stop eventually. We are talking about maybe a minute in top or 2 minutes.
Okay.
And then just stop and listen and try to feel the surroundings.
Okay.
Are any of the minions still alive? Is Baronade still shooting about?
Baronade is still shooting. There are probably, let's say, 2 minions left. Baronade is trying to shoot through Jabu Jabu to Goma, but none of them are, of course, hitting. Because, of course, it's through Jabu Jabu as well. So Goma might start to feel a slight electric charge. This will be dealing no damage to Goma, but you know what I mean. This is effectively Goma's intel at the moment, because at the moment, Baronade considers Goma one of about 3 or 4 targets.
Yep. In that case, if Goma would notice that there are now some sort of force already directly at her, and she is inside Jabu Jabu part, she would try to bite into Jabu Jabu with venom.
Okay. And yeah, this is a slow acting thing, so nothing would happen as of yet. Baronade would still be shooting. Goma would still basically know that, although I would say Goma might. At this stage, it's insignificant damage to Goma, is how I put it. But, like, the electric field is getting more and more, because even though Baronade is trying to shoot at Goma through tissue, Baronade is now focusing on, like, one minion and Goma, if that makes sense. So, the attacks are ramping up effectively. Okay? So,
And that would be the moment where Goma tries to make a quick retreat back to the original hiding place.
okay, so Goma would be doing that. Okay, so we can speed this along a bit. Baronade would be shooting towards Goma, and nothing would hit at all, to clarify, because Goma would be back at the original hiding place. Would Goma take any other actions?
Goma would most likely wait a moment to see if anything changes. If not, Goma would repeat this same plan.
Okay,
Pretty
exactly.
much the same actions that it already have done so far.
Okay, well, this is through repetition, but effectively what happens is that Baronade is effectively poisoned, as well as Jabu Jabu, so Goma defeats Baronade and Jabu Jabu throughout the space of... It's tough to know, but if it was focused on Baronade, possibly a week, and yeah, Jabu would effectively be defeated as well. So yeah, in that case, well, we know who our winner is on this one. It's Goma. And is there anything else to say on that, really?
Well, there is the usual
Yeah.
the intelligence clause.
Yes, so just going into this, to clarify, with regards to what we specifically said, we said that Goma would win this with a very high probability. And that is very high because of Goma's very high intelligence. There was no way that Goma would take a wrong action that would put her in trouble against Baronade. Goma had the ability to probe, used it correctly, knew that Baronade was organic in some form, and therefore could use her venom on them. And yeah, that's very much what the battle came down to. I mean, if we look at Baronade, Baronade had all the abilities in order to defeat Goma. That electric stun is so powerful. Baronade's minions are better than Goma's. But it's the thing. You might have better tools, but if you don't know how to use your toolkit, you're just not gonna win. Goma had far less than Baronade had in this fight. But Goma knew how to use her tools to receive the best results ever. And that's why Goma wins this. Intelligence wins battles. It really does. But yeah.
Yep. Like, time and time again.
Yeah.
Intelligence has proven itself to be the most important stat.
Yeah, it really is. So, we have it. Goma is the winner. So, yeah. Is there anything everybody wants to say at the end of this about this battle? Or
I think it actually should like how it went.
sorry?
I agree what you what the battle went. So yeah,
Yep.
say about it.
Good. Well, yeah. If that's the case, that is boss battle. This has been Goma versus Baronade, and yeah.